Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to really stretch those brain muscles. Today we're diving into Mike Dooley's manifesting change.
Dude, that's a good one.
Yeah, it really flips the script on how we think about reality.
Right.
Dooley's saying we're not just, along for the ride. We're actually creating our lives
Right.
like all the time.
Yeah, I love that concept.
Me too.
Uh,
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
Definitely.
So thoughts, intentions, actions, all of it.
hmm
Dooley says it's all part of this creative power we have.
And get this, he compares it to like divine intelligence.
Whoa, okay, so we're not just shaping our little corner of the world, we're tapping into something much bigger.
Exactly. And he backs it up with his own life experiences. There's this story about a book he read as a teenager, The Search for Bridie Murphy.
Now that rings a bell.
hmm
Is that about past lives or something?
Yeah, past lives, hypnosis, pretty out there stuff. But for Dooley, it was like a missing piece of the puzzle clicked into place. It kind of confirmed this feeling he had that our thoughts are way more powerful than we realize.
Hmm. I've had those moments too, like those aha moments where suddenly things start to make sense.
That's exactly what he's talking about. He calls it deductive reasoning. Basically, it's about looking inward for answers instead of just relying on outside information.
So going with your gut, trusting your instincts.
Yeah, but it's more than that. It's about connecting the dots in your own life, looking for patterns. Dooley believes you can use deductive reasoning to solve problems, like real life stuff.
Hmm, I like that. So instead of getting bogged down by what we think we know, we start questioning. We start looking deeper.
Exactly. And he really stresses the importance of personal experience. Like those aha moments, they come from your life, not from some textbook.
That makes sense. But,
Mm.
it's one thing to say we have this power, but how do we actually use it?
Well, that's where Dooley's miraculous mechanics come in. He actually breaks down manifestation into 3 steps. He even uses this crazy story about a car crash he had in Saudi Arabia as an example.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Talk about a wake-up call. But how does a car crash relate to manifesting?
Well, for Dooley, it was a series of almost impossible events that led up to the crash. And he sees it as the universe like orchestrating things to get him where he needed to be.
Okay, so the universe was like, hey, watch out. But what are those 3 steps?
All right, so first, you got to be crystal clear about what you want. Not just a wishy-washy, I kind of want this, but like a detailed picture of the end result, the destination.
Okay, set the GPS. Got it. What's next?
Then you got to take action. It doesn't have to be some huge leap, just a step, any step in the right direction.
So it's not enough to just like sit around and think about what you want.
Right, you got to put some skin in the game. And this is where it gets a little trippy. The third step is where the universe steps in. Dooley says it figures out the hows and makes those crazy coincidences happen.
Hold on. So we decide what we want, we take a step towards it, and then the universe is like, I got this.
Yeah. He even uses the word backward, like the universe is working backward from your desired outcome.
Okay, that's a bit mind-bending.
Right. But he has all these examples like Tiger Woods sinking those impossible putts. Skill? Sure. But maybe a little nudge from the universe too. He even talks about how he manifested his first job. It was like all these things lined up perfectly, even though it seemed impossible at the time.
Okay, so we're setting the destination, we're taking a step, and we're trusting the universe to be our cosmic GPS.
Yeah.
Even if the road seems a little off-road.
Exactly. And to help with that whole setting the destination thing, Dooley has this cool tool called the Matrix.
The Matrix. Like the movie.
Kinda. It's like a grid where you map out your dreams in 5 key areas: livelihood, abundance, health, relationships, and happiness.
So instead of getting lost in the how-tos, we're focusing on the whats. Like, what does a fulfilling career look like for me? Or what does a healthy relationship feel like?
Right. It's about getting clear on those big picture goals, shifting your focus from how do I get rich to what does financial abundance actually look and feel like in my life?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got our destination locked in with the matrix. We're taking action. But what about visualization? Isn't that a big part of manifesting?
Absolutely. Dooley suggests spending a few minutes each day visualizing yourself already living that dream life. And not just seeing it, but feeling it, experiencing it fully, like really immersing yourself in that
He
reality.
even compares it to brushing your teeth, something you do every day for your well-being.
Right. And remember, visualization is not just daydreaming. It's about aligning your energy with your desires. creating that magnetic pull.
Got it. So we're sending a clear signal to the universe, like, hey, this is what I'm all about.
Exactly. And speaking of sending signals, Dooley talks about the power of pretending, acting as if your desired outcome is already true.
Wait, so, like, fake it till you make it.
He has this funny story about a friend who pretended to have a partner, started clearing out a closet, making space in the garage. Guess what? Ended up manifesting a real relationship.
Whoa, hold on. We gotta unpack this.
That's a story for part two. But for now, think about all those unique experiences you've had, those talents you've developed. No one else has lived your life right.
Yeah, everyone has their own story.
Dooley calls those your infinite probabilities, and he believes that embracing them is what truly leads to fulfillment.
Hmm. So it's not about trying to fit into someone else's idea of success. It's about celebrating what makes you you. I love that. This is all so empowering. But before we get too carried away, let's take a break and come back for more mind-blowing insights from Mike Dooley.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others and trying to fit into some mold, you know?
Yeah, like we're all supposed to be following the same roadmap to success.
Right. But Dooley reminds us that our path is going to be unique. It's going to have its own twists and turns, and that's a good thing.
Totally. But it's still easy to get tripped up by those limiting beliefs, right? Those thoughts that tell us we're not good enough or that we'll never achieve our dreams. Dooley actually calls them bars.
Yeah, those bars, they can really hold us back. And sometimes we don't even realize they're there. It's like those thoughts that just play on repeat in the background, you know?
Like, I'm not creative enough, or I'm too old to start something new.
Exactly. And Dooley says the first step is to become aware of those thoughts, to really pay attention to what you're saying to yourself.
So it's like catch yourself in the act of self-sabotage.
Right. And once you identify those bars, you can start questioning them. Like, are they really true? Or are they just old stories you've been telling yourself?
And then what? Do we just like try to ignore those negative thoughts?
It's not about ignoring them, it's about challenging them. Dooley actually encourages us to like raise those bars as high as we can imagine. He uses this analogy of booking a flight. Would you automatically picture yourself stuck in coach? Or would you dare to dream of first class?
Okay, I see where you're going with this. It's
Okay,
about
so-
expanding our horizons,
Yeah.
right? Not limiting ourselves based on our past experiences or what we think is possible.
Exactly. And this is where Dooley's idea of pretending comes in, like acting as if your desired outcome is already true.
Right. Like in that story about Dooley's friend who manifested a partner by like clearing out a closet and making space in the garage. It sounds kind of crazy, but I guess it worked.
Right. It's about aligning your actions with your desires, even if it feels a little silly at first. Dooley talks about his first car, a red Fiat Spider. He had a brochure of that car on his wall and would visualize himself driving it every day.
Hmm.
And guess what? He ended up manifesting that exact car right down to the color and the details.
That's wild. It's like the universe is taking notes. But what about when things don't go according to plan? We can't always get what we want, right?
That's true, and Dooley acknowledges that setbacks are a part of life. But he has this really interesting perspective on adversity. He believes that challenges aren't punishments, they're actually opportunities for growth and learning.
Okay, I get what he's saying, but it's still hard to see the good when you're going through something really tough.
I know, and Dooley doesn't sugarcoat it, but he emphasizes that true empowerment comes from taking responsibility for everything in our lives, both the good and the bad.
So it's not about blaming ourselves for everything, but recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond to those challenges.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a victim mentality to a creator mentality. It's about saying, okay, this happened. Now what am I going to do about it?
I love that. But what about those times when we feel like we're putting in the effort, visualizing, taking action, but nothing seems to be happening? It can be discouraging.
I hear you. And that's where Dooley's advice to trust the process comes in. Just because we can't see the immediate results doesn't mean things aren't happening behind the scenes. Remember, the universe works in mysterious ways.
So it's about being patient and having faith that things are unfolding as they should, even when it feels like we're stuck.
Exactly. And sometimes those delays or detours are actually setting us up for something even better than we could have imagined. It's like we're being redirected to a path that's more aligned with our soul's purpose, you know?
Okay, I'm trying to embrace this trust the process thing, but it's not always easy to silence those doubts.
Well, and Dooley reminds us that those doubts are okay. They're part of being human, right? And they can actually serve a purpose. Like they can help us refine our desires, make sure we're truly aligned with what we want.
So even the doubts are part of the process. Interesting.
And speaking of the process, we've been talking a lot about the external stuff, success, abundance, all that. But what about our inner world? Can we use this manifesting power to cultivate, say, more joy, more peace in our lives?
That's a great question. I mean, can we really manifest a better mood?
Absolutely. In fact, Dooley emphasizes that this creative power isn't just about material things, it's about shaking our inner world as well. It's about cultivating those qualities we want to experience more of: joy, love, compassion.
So it's not just about getting what we want. It's about becoming who we want to be.
Exactly. It's about aligning our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with those qualities. And as we cultivate those qualities within ourselves, they naturally radiate outward, impacting the world around us. It's pretty powerful stuff.
It is. And it makes me think about how we can use this power to create positive change, not just in our own lives, but in the world.
And that's a perfect segue to part 3. We'll dive deeper into how to manifest those positive inner qualities and explore how those inner transformations can ripple out and create positive change in the world.
Okay, so we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into Mike Dooley's Manifesting Change. And I got to say, this whole concept of manifesting those positive inner qualities, that's really resonating with me.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to that idea we talked about earlier, the interconnectedness of everything.
Right, the whole being the universe thing.
Exactly. So if we're all connected like threads in this cosmic tapestry, then when we cultivate those positive qualities within ourselves, joy, peace, love, it's not just benefiting us, it's benefiting everyone.
Okay, I like that. So it's like we raise our vibration and everyone around us gets a little boost too.
Exactly. It's like throwing a pebble in a pond, those ripples spread out, touching everything in their path.
I love that analogy. But, it's easy to get caught up in the shoulds and have tosses of personal growth. Like we got to be constantly striving for some perfect version of ourselves.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It can start to feel kind of heavy, you know?
Exactly. But Dooley reminds us that it's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about enjoying the journey, having fun with it.
Yeah, I think he even says something like, lighten up.
Right. Like give yourself permission to make mistakes, to stumble along the way. It's all part of the process.
And those mistakes, they're actually valuable lessons. They help us learn and grow.
So it's like we got to get out of our own way,
Mhm.
stop taking ourselves so seriously, and just allow ourselves to, be human.
Exactly. And that's where trusting our intuition comes in.
Oh, yeah, that inner voice, our gut feeling. We talked about that earlier. But how do we actually strengthen that connection with our intuition?
Dooley suggests practices like meditation, mindfulness, spending time in nature. Basically anything that helps quiet the mind and tune in to that inner wisdom.
I've been trying to meditate more lately, and it definitely helps me feel more grounded.
It's like creating space for those intuitive whispers to come through, those nudges and synchronicities that guide us along the way.
Okay, so we're quieting the mind, tuning into our intuition. But let's be real, life can still throw us curveballs, even when we're doing all the right things.
Absolutely. And that's where Dooley's message of unwavering faith comes in. Trusting that the universe is always working in our favor, even when it doesn't seem like it.
All right, even when things get tough, we got to remember that there's a bigger picture unfolding.
Exactly. It's like we're playing a game of chess. Sometimes we got to sacrifice a pawn to win the game.
Yeah.
Those setbacks, those challenges, they might actually be setting us up for something even better down the line.
Okay, I'm trying to keep that in mind. So, to wrap things up, I guess the key takeaway here is that manifesting change, whether it's in our external world or our inner world, it's really about aligning ourselves with our highest potential, right?
Absolutely. It's about embracing who we truly are, those infinite probabilities Dooley talks about, and trusting that as we do that, the universe will meet us halfway, orchestrating those synchronicities, those opportunities that lead us to a life that's both magical and fulfilling.
And as we navigate the ups and downs of life, we got to remember to enjoy the ride, right?
Absolutely. And never stop asking yourself that powerful question Dooley leaves us with. What's your favorite thing about being the universe?
Such a great question. It really gets you thinking. Well, that's it for our deep dive into manifesting change. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to check out Mike Dooley's book. It's packed with mind-blowing insights, practical tools that can help you unlock your own effortless creator within. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep shining your light.